Napoli are smashing it in Serie A, and it's largely to do with one player, Scott McTominay. McTominay has been Napoli's joker this season, and he's so good that he's forced Napoli's coach, Antonio Conte, to come up with a new system entirely. A surprise considering that Man Utd unceremoniously threw him out of the club so that they could sign Manuel Ugarte. So, how has he done it? How has he gone from Manchester United reject to the man Napoli fans now call McTotally? Just how good is Scott McTominay? I'd go to Manchester United to arrest all the directors, former footballer and Napoli player Paolo Di Canio said. To him, it's an offence for United to have sold a player of McTominay's talent. United sold McTominay for only £25 million, and they may have sold the player who could have been a key asset for their new coach, Ruben Amorim, who plays a similar system to Napoli's Antonio Conte. United selling McTominay had been something that had been considered for some time, considering the criticisms about the player by some fans. However, United didn't sell him because of the fans. They did it to meet the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules and steady the financial books in the short term. That decision could end up hurting them in the long run. It's even hurting them now. His sale is the reason why Ten Hag lost his job, and no, this isn't an exaggeration. McTominay scored some decisive goals for United, coming up clutch several times and helping United scrape some vital wins. Once he left, those goals stopped coming and Ten Hag ran into trouble. Even before he was dismissed by United, Ten Hag had already hinted that the sale of McTominay was a mistake. He said he didn't want McTominay to leave, but the player transferring to Napoli had to happen because of the PSR. Would Ten Hag still be United's coach if they didn't sell McTominay to Napoli? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and please hit that like and subscribe button while you're there. So, McTominay did score special goals for United, and what made those goals crazy was that they came despite coaches at United playing him in a defensive role. McTominay has a powerful frame and a work rate that would make N'Golo Kante proud. So this prompted coaches to focus on the defensive aspects of his game rather than his attacking instincts. McTominay, who usually played as one of the pivots in a double pivot midfield, was expected to win balls, occupy spaces in the midfield left by Bruno Fernandes to help United be balanced defensively. He's even played the role of the deepest United midfielder several times under Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. His midfield partner at those times, Fred, was the one that was allowed to join up with the attack. No wonder he received criticism from time to time. It's like asking Paul Pogba to play deep and occupy spaces other players leave behind so the team won't be exposed. And yes, United tried that with Paul Pogba too. How have they failed so badly to find a position for two excellent midfielders like that? It must be a United thing. However, it isn't only at United that McTominay was used wrongly. For his country, Scotland, coach Steve Clarke used him as a centre-back during the qualifying stages of Euro 2020. It was a complete change to what McTominay was used to. Another coach noticing his fatigue, athleticism and work rate and believing he would be best used defensively. McTominay adapted to the position, and he was a crucial player for Scotland, helping them win the playoff rounds by scoring in the penalty shootouts against Israel and Serbia. That qualification for Euro 2020 would be Scotland's first major tournament in 23 years, so no wonder he had to wait until October 2021 before scoring his first international goal, not including penalty shootouts, 3 years after his debut. The interesting thing about his debut was that Jose Mourinho suggested that the Scotland manager at the time, Alex McLeish, should select McTominay, who could also have played for England. McLeish made the right decision as his stint at centre-back aside. There was more to come from McTominay for his country, but let's save that for later. It must have been odd that McTominay had to dull his instincts just so he could help his club and country. McTominay loves to attack, and his strength lies more in the final third, where he can score in different ways or pressure the opponents and win the ball from high up the pitch. He is a different player entirely in these positions. With how his career at United was going, it wasn't a surprise when he was also eager to join Napoli and play under Conte. He needed that fresh start more than anything, although it wouldn't have been an easy decision for him to make. Up until his transfer to Napoli, McTominay was a one-club man. He had been at United all his life and didn't even go out on loan. McTominay joined Manchester United's academy when he was 5 after attending the club's development centre in Preston. During his years at the academy, he was seen as a natural central midfielder, then moved to attack to help bolster the attacking capabilities of the reserve team. This again. It seems coaches have always tried to use him in a different position away from his natural capabilities. And it's actually good that they did this, as we'll see later. While McTominay is seen as a core player for Napoli now, as a youth in the academy, he struggled and was unable to land a starting spot for United's under-18s between 2013 and 2015. It wasn't because of his ability, but rather lots of injuries due to growth and development issues. As usual to his strength and character, McTominay managed to turn this around and landed a spot in the first team before eventually making his Premier League debut on May the 7th, 2018. 6 years later, and he eventually left the club in 2024 for Conte's Napoli. As we know, the sale was necessary for United's accounts, but it was unnecessary from a footballing standpoint. Back to international football, and this guy was the force behind Scotland's qualifying for Euro 2024. He scored important goals during the qualification group and even scored 2 goals against eventual winners of the tournament, Spain, in a shock victory. He ended up being Scotland's highest goal scorer in qualifying and even outscored Erling Haaland. United should have seen this and tried to do everything to keep him, but Conte did see it and did everything in his power to sign him. When McTominay arrived at Napoli, he came with the lessons he had learned from all the years coaches have used him in various positions. He has the instinct of a striker he learned from his days at United's academy, the technical security of a holding midfielder, the ability of a box-to-box midfielder, and the spatial and defensive awareness of a centre-back. He was the type of player Conte wanted: hard-working, athletic, agile and disciplined. So naturally, he commanded a spot in the starting lineup, with Conte changing his formation so he could best utilise the midfielder's ability. Conte views McTominay as a striker and midfielder rolled into one. So to allow McTominay to play both roles effectively, Conte changed from a 3-4-2-1 to a 3-5-2, which then changes to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 when Napoli are in possession. McTominay usually plays along Romelu Lukaku up front and operates as a second striker. He's a player that is keen to attack the box and also occupy the areas that Lukaku leaves when he drops deep. This has yielded some incredible results and goals, like the one against Como, for instance. When they don't have the ball, Napoli's shape changes to a 5-3-2, with McTominay playing as the left midfielder in a midfield 3. In that position, he helps to block passes and spaces that opponents can operate in. He then helps to win the ball back and does one of the things that he does best: drive the ball forward in a counter-attack. The responsibilities Conte has placed on McTominay are immense, but he trusts the player to deliver because of that immense work rate. In 3 games, McTominay covered 11.9 kilometres more than any other Serie A player. The way Conte uses McTominay looks very simple on paper, but without the player's spatial awareness, intelligence and fluidity, the tactic wouldn't work. The Scots' position is subject to change in every match. With his performances so far, they love McTominay at Napoli. Fans have called him McTotally because of his ability to do just everything right, from attack to defence. His teammate Romelu Lukaku has described him as lethal. Napoli legend Marek Hamsik has declared McTominay as his heir at Napoli, and as we showed you earlier, a former Napoli player, Paolo Di Canio, wants to arrest Man United directors for crimes against such a fine talent. McTominay still has more to do for Napoli. Maybe if he delivers on his potential, Napoli will challenge for the Scudetto and be a force in Europe next season. Do you think United made a mistake in selling him? Is he one of modern football's great all-round players? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Plus, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more football stories.